Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the one and only Infinite Charge podcast. I'm your host, Tahir Jones.
And I'm also your host, Malachi White.
And this is our first visual podcast, and I'm excited for it, man. I feel like God's just been blessing us, really giving us the downloads and the information to really know where we want to go with our message, and it's going to be one hell of a message today.
Absolutely, man. I'm really excited to get into this one. And like you said, I mean, I'm just glad that we had the opportunity to continue to get better, to continue to try different things. Yeah. And the visual podcast is definitely a part of it. And we're glad to have you guys on this journey with us. So, yeah.
All right. So you know how we always usually begin our podcast,
right,
with a prayer. Just bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning and giving me fresh breath of air this morning, Lord. And Lord, I just thank you for giving me the wisdom and the information for me to just take and just live for something greater than myself, Lord. Thank you for my brother right here next to me, Lord, for all the things he has done for me and all the information he has shared with me, Lord. And thank you for this podcast. Thank you for the vision, Lord. I just want to sit in gratitude, Lord, when I come to you, Lord. And that's all I could really ask for. Continue to watch over me and my family and all my loved ones, Lord. Continue to seek everybody's passion and help them figure it out, Lord, in their life, because things is not easy out here, Lord. And I just thank you. In Jesus' name I say, amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen. So today is just the topic I've been actually resonating on, and that's been sitting on my heart real heavy. Is just shutting up and trusting the process.
Absolutely.
I feel like when you look at all the greats, whatever, anybody could be great to somebody, you know.
Yeah.
But when you really look at it, like, they had a process. They developed themselves, and they made themselves vulnerable to really their mistakes and learn from anything, you know, any lesson that was given to them by God in God's name. They just learn from it, and then you see the end result, and it's just great.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like you said, with anybody who's done anything that's important, they've had to stick to a process. They've had to deal with those vulnerabilities, and they had to quiet some of the noise to really just stick to that. And that's what we mean by shut up and trust the process. And it's definitely an interesting title for it. I'm sure you might have thought, like, man, shut up, trust the process. But that's pretty much what we mean.
Cause it's really that simple.
Yeah, it is.
Like we said, just shutting up and trusting the process, man. I feel like it's all gonna come together if you stay down, keep your head down, keep working.
Absolutely. So, one question I have for you.
Yep.
Did this topic really resonate with you? I remember, you hit me up, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, we definitely should. I could see us doing that for our next episode. And my question for you is, and this is very basic, but like, what is the process, and how is it different for everybody?
I mean, in my opinion, I believe that the process is just your story, your journey, you know, the development of yourself,
right?
Who you want to be, and how long it would take, or what steps you got to take to become that person you want to be.
Absolutely.
And I feel like everybody is different, no matter if you're twins or everybody is different, man. So everybody journey and everybody process has to be different, because God designed us to be different. God created us in his way, his shape and form. So
yeah.
That alone just answers the question. I mean, everybody is different, man.
Yeah, nah. I mean, just to add on to that, like what you said, it's different for everybody. And you know, there's when we think about trust in the process, there is the big picture process, which is what we call life, and then there's those little micro processes where that all add on to the main, like those little small points of the picture that add on to the main painting. And it, like, trusting the process doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, this is it's a make or break situation every time. It could be a simple process, as it could be something as simple as, can I continue to trust this person? Is this person somebody who will be beneficial for me? Or it could be just the process could be so many different things.
I agree. And those little decisions actually form to be a big answer in the long run. Cutting somebody off or just doing something that you may not be comfortable with might just be a part of the process.
Yeah.
Like challenging yourself as well is a part of the process.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I agree with, and I didn't look at it like that, because there is different types of, different types of processes in terms of big and small. I feel like when you reach the point where you want to go big and you want to touch the world, I feel like that is just a reflection of all the small processes that you went through.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So my next question would be this, right? I mean, we're talking about the process, but like, what can someone do if they don't know what their process is? Like, what are the steps that somebody could take to find their process if they don't know exactly what it is? And when I say process, I mean, like, let's say like the big process, life, purpose, things like that. What can somebody do to find their process if they don't know it?
Well, I feel like just putting in the work.
Right.
First realizing that you don't know what your process is, because some people start chasing a dream that's not even suit for them, or chasing a process that's not even meant for them. So I feel like doing your research, learning yourself, meditating, just building a connection with yourself.
Right.
That's when, because you gotta look at it like this: if you don't know yourself, how do you expect anybody to, respect you and know your value if you don't even know your own value?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like the first step is to just start finding out about yourself, what you love to do, what makes you happy.
Word.
No matter what it is, man. It could be anything, man. Whatever makes you happy, I feel like that's what you should shoot for.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think just to add on to that, realistically, that question just comes down to purpose, and and you could, obviously there are steps that we could take on a personal level to find that, but also just finding those people, those voices that that have really added value to your life, those people that you really trust in, those people that really know who you are deep down. They can also help you to find your process. And they can also identify when you are chasing the wrong process. They'll be the first ones to tell you, like, yo, like, you real phony right now. You're not you chasing something that's not meant for you. That don't have your name on it. So just that, I just wanted to add on to that. And I remember we were on the phone, and I asked you that because I was like, that's a really good question. Like, there are so many people that are lost now. And I was like, and something you said on the phone, which I want you to like relate to everybody who's listening right now. But when I asked you that, on the same question I just asked you just now, I asked you on the phone, and you said something about fighting for your focus. Yeah, like
I feel like if you don't know your process, then you must not even be looking for it, man. I feel like you should be fighting for your focus, because once you put your eyes on one thing and you really put your mind on one thing and focus, I mean, you're unstoppable, man. It's unbelievable how long and how far focus could take you, man.
Yeah.
And it's about maintaining focus for a long time, because I know myself, I'm not perfect, man. I lose focus just as fast as, a regular person.
Yeah.
Or, I be losing focus a lot, and I feel like focus is what is the answer, man. If you could focus, you could do anything in this life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just a few strategies to help with focus. I mean, it self-discipline definitely plays a role in that.
Focus is a muscle, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something you gotta keep you got to keep that thing in the gym.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You start eating chocolates.
Yo, you love chocolate, dog.
You getting the rewards for your focus, right?
Okay, just be honest. Let them know you like chocolate.
I love
Simple,
chocolate, man.
simple.
But it's just in the long run that thing killing you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how you said that. You got to put that focus in the gym and really work on it, training like it's a muscle, and some exercises that you could do to build that self-discipline, that focus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's fasting, there's meditation, there's
fasting for clarity. That's big, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at fasting like, man, you starving yourself.
Yeah.
But it's really just for clarity.
Right.
You really get a different type of clarity, man.
Exactly.
You get a connection with God and yourself as well.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, prayer. I mean, just so many different exercises. Mm-hmm. But when we say all of these different techniques and exercises, we're not saying, okay, if you go from doing none of these things today to, okay, they said all this, I need to do it. It's not going to work like that. I think it needs to be progressive because, you can't just go to the gym, get on a bench press, and you go from benching 60 one day to now you're doing 200. Now you burn out. You probably even hurt yourself. So, those are some techniques to help you fight for your focus and to help you to build that muscle so that when times get rough, when there's so many different things, so many different noises, taken away from the main noise that you need to listen to, which we will speak on that. You could tell that muscle is strong enough that it would tell all these different things that are tugging at you to shut up so that you can hear what matters. So that's what we mean by
I know it sounds cliche when we say prayer, meditation,
right,
diet, but that stuff really, really could get you somewhere, man. And just finding your happiness is the answer.
It's major.
Is the answer.
That's definitely major. Yup. So I spoke about noise. We went from speaking about building a muscle to speaking about noise. Mm-hmm. The muscle thing still applies, but just for the sake of where we're going today, the topic, what was proposed, and what we're going with this message, just the whole aspect of shutting up and trusting the process. Mm-hmm. In order to tell something to shut up, you need to understand that it's a noise that is drowning out the main noise that you need to be listening to. What is the main noise that you need to be listening to? Number one, it could be a culmination of things, but we believe that it's the voice of God, it's the universe, it's all of the signs, everything that's going on, that's telling you that this is your process, and this is what you need to be doing, and if you pay attention to it, if you train that muscle, if you train yourself to be able to listen to that noise, it will always be there for you to help to lead and guide you. That noise could come through a stranger. You could be in a grocery store and somebody could just walk up to you. I've had that happen to me before, and it's just all of these signs and things to help you to stay on that process.
Yeah, and I feel like that noise only comes about, that right type of noise comes about when you put in the work. You're not going to realize the signs if you're not putting in the work, man. So if you're not putting in the work, man, you're just going to be getting a lot of bad noise. You're not going to be getting the good noise. I feel like the bad noise is always around, man. The bad noise is always ready to creep up and just play with you. It's always going to be there, man. But it's about learning the discipline and understanding the good noise, because God might send you a message through something bad, but if you understand like it's not the bad noise, then you could really work with it and see what God has really planned out for you in the end.
Yeah. Nah, absolutely.
Feel me on that one?
Yeah, I really feel you. Nah, that makes a lot of sense. You have to be able to train yourself to distinguish between good and bad
noise. And we talked about that in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things is just surface level, man. When you start diving deep, that's when you start opening your eyes and you start being able to tell, which one. I
mean, if you think about it, the more that you hang around somebody, the more that you get to understand that person, and then even from a literal sense, their voice, to the point that person could be in a group of 100 strangers and you don't have to see that person, but if they make just enough noise, you would be like, oh, that sounds like oh, that sound like Tahir. I know that voice. I heard that voice before. So it's all about training yourself. But if you don't spend enough time with that person, or if you don't hang around that person enough, then when that person does make that noise, you'd be like, kind of sounds familiar, but I don't know.
You're gonna be unsure, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like, you'd be like, oh, maybe I'm tripping or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just in my head. I don't really know.
Yeah. And speaking of being in your head, that's something we could talk about too.
I mean, being in your head is so tough, man. I feel like because it's a constant battle, at least for me, and I'm still working on it. It's a constant battle, just the good noise and bad noise, and you know, I'm human. Sometimes I start believing the bad noise,
right?
You know, but that's not like what I want to do. No,
yeah,
that's not like that's natural, but then again, like it's still something I need to work on.
Absolutely, and same thing for me. Just from my personal experience, there's always the noise is inevitable. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's inevitable. Mm-hmm. No matter, it's just always around. No matter what you're doing, whether you're right path, wrong path, it's
always there to creep up, man.
It's always there.
And then it may be kind of difficult to find the good noise,
right?
Because then you start focus on trying to block out the bad noise.
Yeah.
So I feel like start focusing on the positive side of things, you know, even though things not going the way you want it to.
Yeah.
I feel like just noticing and knowing that the good noise.
Right. No matter what. And then another aspect of this whole noise idea before we get off of it, but I feel like there are certain things that we can do we already talked about all of the exercises and things to build self-discipline, so that to help us to be able to trust the process. But just the whole idea of noise, you can surround yourself with whatever noise.
Whatever noise.
Yeah,
it could be good noise is like, man, you surrounding yourself around what you want to be around, man. Positive energy.
Yeah.
You know, just bliss. You surrounding yourself around bliss and peace, man. And that's the good noise. That's the greatest noise you could get.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, I mean, and even we talking about noise, even music. I mean, you know, we all love music. We all love, it means a lot to so many people. But from time to time, it's like, have you just ever heard, like, okay, is this new song out on Nas's new album, King's Disease 2? And Lauryn Hill is on a song with him. And it's just, and I just remember just riding in the car, me and my parents, we were all in the car. We were just on vacation, and this song came on. And we were just like, wow, because the album is new. First of all, I heard it first, but my parents, it was their first time hearing it. I wanted to surprise them because they like Lauryn Hill. And we cut it on, and both of my parents were like, wow, is this Lauryn? Like, this is giving me goosebumps right now. That's the power of noise. So just keeping that in mind, like, you know, we all, like I said, we all love music. We all love things like that. But you can surround yourself. Sometimes you could take a break from, you know, what's popular and what could drain your vibration a little bit, and to listen to stuff that's empowering from time to time.
I agree.
Definitely good.
And I feel like that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
It is a good balance.
Right.
You know, we all gonna love our music, our different types of hip hop, whatever it may be. But
yeah,
you know, listening to something that has a purpose and has a meaning is always important as well.
Yeah, podcasts as well.
I know people. When I started a podcast, people were like, what made you want to start a podcast?
Right.
Because I wanted to be a voice.
Yeah.
I wanted to live for something that's greater than me, and try to not only, because I listen to these too, not only empower myself, but just empower other people that's listening.
Absolutely.
No matter the view count.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is that when you are giving off the right type of noise to help other people with their processes, as we spoke about before, and it's just going to be a constant idea. It's going to be constant. What you give out is what you get back. So it's another way to make sure that you are getting the right noise, is giving off the right noise.
That's the greatest law, I feel like, in this universe.
Yeah.
You get what you I mean, how is it?
You get back what you get what you give.
Receive, right?
Yeah.
No. How you say it?
I mean, you can say it any type of way.
You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. What you give
no
out
matter
what
it is. So good or bad.
Absolutely.
You pay your dues, man.
Absolutely. Yup. So yeah, so that's just noise. That's and just a little bit more on the unhealthy noise. Sometimes there are those people who see that you're going in the right direction, and they just, it whenever somebody sees something that makes them wanna that like reminds them that they need to level up, then they get defensive and they wanna surround you with their noise, and sometimes it's just you have to be able to train yourself to distinguish between like, okay, should I really listen to this person? Does this person really?
Real, bro.
It's like, does this person really even know what my process is?
Exactly.
Like,
Yes, exactly. Because you didn't listen to somebody that don't even know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you just messed up something good. You probably had something loading for you.
Right.
You just threw it all away because somebody criticized you that don't even know you like that.
Right. And there's not all criticisms are bad. I mean, there are constructive criticisms as well. It's just about how you take it, this all comes down to whether you are in the spirit or not, whether you are charged up for that interaction, whether you are prepared to take the good and take the constructive criticism and leave the negative and the stuff that are going to cause you to second guess yourself and second guess your process. It shouldn't make you want to second guess your process. It should just make your process more efficient. If it's good criticism, if it's good criticism, it should push you even forward faster.
And through trusting the process, your process is going to tell you what to fix.
Right.
If you're really studying and you really putting in that work, your process alone, you won't even have to listen to anybody.
Right.
You will know what you got to work on yourself through God that's giving you messages every day, and through yourself, putting that work in with yourself. I mean, it's always good to take criticism, but you got to know right from wrong, which ones you should listen to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, another thing that we talk about, that we're going to talk about when it comes to this whole just idea of trusting the process, right? Are those points in times where, okay, let's say, as of right now, I said before that there could be a lot of like sub processes that add on to the main process. Let's talk more about the main process, and then, like, let's say if this was like a video game, and then there's the main objective of the whole game, but you had those little side missions every once in a while, or maybe somebody might ask a favor of you, and you might have to derail yourself a little bit just to help that person out, and it all leads to whether you are going to say yes or no to these different things. And sometimes saying no is another version of quieting some noise or shutting up some noise sometimes.
Of course.
And saying no is hard. Like,
saying no is probably one of the hardest things, especially when you're trying to work on yourself.
Right.
Getting out of your old habits, whether it be with friends, say you used to party.
Yeah.
Just saying no to that party, it could be difficult.
It can.
And it could make your friends start looking at you different.
Absolutely.
And you might not like that because you probably just a people's person and you want to just make everyone happy, but you got to learn how to say no, man. And that's something I got to work on.
Me too.
I got to learn how to say no.
Me too.
But we could tap further in. I want to go deeper with that.
Yeah, nah, for sure. In fact, let's talk about it now. Just some, like, there are going to be situations where it's going to be, and I'll tell you this is how it's going to be with everyday life. It's always going to be a constant battle between the spirit and the flesh. You know that song? My body says yes, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, we could, I wish that, man, who made that song? I wish that
was R. Kelly, right?
Yeah, I think it was. But I wish he would have said, my spirit says no, but my body says yes. That would have
been deeper.
Yeah, because it's a constant battle, and in those moments where you don't say no, when your spirit is telling you to say no, but you don't say no, it derails you from your process, and you have to go on another mission just to get back to where you were before because you didn't say no. But just that whole aspect of the spirit versus the flesh is what really, really,
we talked about training that muscle of these of these qualities like self-discipline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But really, when you kill your spirit every day, when you kill your flesh every day and allow your spirit to lead you, it would be even more easier to shut up all of that outside noise and to say no when you have to. Say no when you have to, regardless of how you feel.
Another thing that just came off the top of my head, I don't know if you feel comfortable with speaking on it because it's not in our notes.
Right.
We didn't really speak about this, but a part of the process is derailing your ego. You know?
Absolutely.
You're not as big as you think, man, or
right.
You know, your ego just wants you to feel stuck in your ways and safe. Your ego thinks is helping you, when really the ego is really derailing you from whatever it may be, chasing your dreams, man. Because
absolutely,
your ego just wants the material things. You know, your ego is just looking from the outside, and then your spirit is in the inside, and that's the one you should be listening to.
Yeah.
But it's so tough to get rid of your ego, man, because it's literally everywhere. Like, my ego is like here right now, you know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like I'm talking in front of a camera, so I got to do my best.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. I'll be honest with you, though. Ego doesn't exist when you're in the spirit. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to that. But, yeah, definitely just...
That's why it's important to stay in the spirit.
Yeah.
Over flesh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. About the whole ego thing, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's probably one of the most unhealthy noises, because you believe that you're doing the right thing by listening to you say, reminding yourself, oh, man, come on, man. You know who you are. You know you can do this, you can do that. And it's sometimes it's necessary. Okay, I think confidence is necessary, but ego is more times.
But it's like your ego is your confidence. Like,
yeah,
it kind of like you get your confidence from your ego. So you think confidence is a
So are you going against everything you just said? Like how do you feel? Like,
what do you mean?
No, I'm saying you just said how, like, sometimes the ego can create unhealthy noise.
Yes.
So like, where are we going right now with this? Like, I understand. I feel you. Like, it's some healthy aspects to the ego, but it's a difference between ego and confidence.
So so that's what you think.
It is. It is. I think it's different. I mean,
that's something we would probably have to talk.
That could be another subject. But I feel like it's a difference. It's a difference. It's a difference between ego and confidence, because when you're in the spirit, you don't need an ego.
Yeah, but so you're saying the spirit is confidence?
Yeah, the spirit gives you the confidence. Ego is a fleshly thing. Is ego have something to do with somebody's spirit, you think?
No. No.
So then when is ego healthy then? If it's a fleshly thing?
Confidence.
No, we just said that ego and confidence are different.
But that's the thing, bro, because your ego, like, it's hard to kill your ego, bro.
That's like, part of killing the flesh daily, right?
Yeah, but it's easier said than done.
So it's healthy.
What, the ego?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's all I wanted you to say.
We're not. But, all right, it's a gift and a curse. We'll leave it at that. It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So, looking at our just another thing actually that I want to speak on. Goals.
Goals, yeah. Setting
goals.
Like, goals. You mean like setting goals, or what do you mean?
Sometimes goals can create unhealthy noise. And I'm going to speak on that for sure, most definitely. Sometimes we just have to reset the recording, but sometimes goals could create unhealthy noise, because it's like when you focus more on the goals, because goals are a part of the process. I mean, they're just small stepping stones, but if you're looking at every step so intensely, you would never get up that staircase, because you're looking at, you know what I'm saying? You're just focusing on too much. It's almost like when you play sports, right? You can't win the game staring at the scoreboard the whole game. You have to actually get immersed and play the game. Yeah. And then when you need those reference points just to see where you are within the game, or in life, when you need those reference points to see where you are in life, you look at your goals. Or in the game, you look at the scoreboard when you need it. But if you're spending time just looking at that type of stuff, all like it would create an unhealthy relationship between something that could be so good for you, and what's actually going on. I think it could create unhealthy noise if you're just constantly, you know, in basketball we call those people stat patterns. You know, you can't win those people who, those people who are so focused on personal accolades and hitting goals that they kind of forget what their purpose is.
What the purpose is.
Yeah, and I feel like that's when goals can become counterproductive. I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like if you live your life behind, goals, it's gonna get to a point where you're burnt out and you're not really reaching those goals like how you want to, and then now you're getting down on yourself even more.
Yeah.
When really you're just rushing the process.
Yeah. And like I said, and I repeat this again, there's nothing wrong with setting goals. There's nothing wrong with
goals.
Having that in the back of your mind.
But finding a balance is also important.
Absolutely. Yup. Yeah, so we talked quite a bit about some unhealthy forms of noise. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that we need to tell to shut up, whether it's people who aren't creating the noise that you need to continue on with your process, or whether it could be music that could be draining your vibration. It could be just so many different things. I mean, it could be your ego,
anxieties.
Oh my goodness, you speak on that, man. Anxiety, that's a big one. That is a really big one.
I mean, you go ahead and speak on it.
I mean, yeah. Well, anxiety is like it's okay. So it's like the opposite. We talked about how ego can pretty much give you a false sense of who you are. It's building up the flesh instead of the spirit. And we know that you build up the flesh.
Anxiety is from the ego.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. That's wild. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, anxiety could be from the ego, because anxiety is like, it's kind of like a safety net for you. It's giving you an out, so
it's
that
formed from the mind.
Yeah. Yeah, but talk to me about how that.
I don't really know too much about anxiety because I don't really deal with that. I don't really be having anxiety.
Well, I know I've dealt with it.
I know how it is though. I mean, that's why I asked you to speak on it.
Yeah, well, for sure. Well, pretty much how anxiety works is and this is from my personal experience. I know there are people who are really struggle with it.
Really,
I've had performance anxieties before. I never really dealt with social anxiety, so I can't really speak on that. There's so many different forms of anxiety, but I've dealt with performance anxiety from just from so many years of playing basketball, and I've always been concerned about not putting out the best product. I mean, even with this thing, even with this podcast, sometimes I dealt before getting this out, I dealt with performance anxiety with that too, because you second guess the product that you're putting out, and that could be I like how you said that anxiety comes from ego, because if you really think about it, it does, because anxiety is like it's giving you a cop out pretty much. A cop out from fulfilling your purpose,
or just seeing what it will result in.
Yeah,
or seeing the end result. And
exactly.
Anxiety would just cut it off, man.
Exactly. Anxiety gives you out.
No one even got to see this. Just cut it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, anxiety definitely is really unhealthy noise.
I agree. Yeah. And then, I mean. Well, if we get back into, shut up and trust in the process.
Right.
I feel like once you get used to the process, there's going to be times where you hear the unhealthy noise, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I feel like another thing you should implement is remembering your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you waking up today and going to do what you love?
That's major.
Why? Is it because someone inspired you to do it?
Yeah.
Is it because it's something your parents want you to do? I mean, is it because you want to impress somebody? I mean, you gotta remember your why. Everybody's why is different. And I don't really think the why, it could be anything. Your why could be anything, man. So I don't really think you could really judge somebody on their why.
Yeah, that's more so between that person and their spirit and just who they are. That's when you And I have to keep speaking on this, and I hope people can understand where I come from when I'm talking about being in the flesh and being in the spirit. They're two different things. Yeah. When you're in the spirit, that why becomes automatically bigger than you. When you're in the flesh, then that why becomes something that's
in the flesh.
Yeah, it could be based off of something that it's about you just prospering over, maybe somebody said something to you that you didn't like, and that's why you do what you do. But really, when you're in the spirit, your why becomes so much greater, and you can have so much more of an impact through trusting your process, and not just trusting it, but fulfilling it.
I agree.
So yeah, man, the why is definitely big, and
I agree.
And if your why is big enough, then whenever those unhealthy noises or things of that nature,
exactly,
it will cancel it out. It's like noise cancellation.
Yeah, if you got that type of drive, man, your why alone could get you through anything.
Absolutely, man. If it's so much bigger than you, then you can't spend time listening to anxiety, listening to your ego tell you something that's not true, and listening to people who don't really know who you are, the true essence of your character. When your why is big enough, I feel like it would noise cancel to the point where you don't have to consciously make these things shut up or tell these things to shut up. Your why will just, create a force field around you.
And if you can't really figure out your why, but you're just getting up and doing what you love, I feel like this is something as well that could help towards the process, is having a plan to interrupt your interruptions.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Hold on. Let me say that. Interrupt your interruptions.
Yes, interrupt your interruptions.
Oh, you about to go somewhere. Hold on. Let me get comfortable.
I feel like you should have a plan to interrupt your distractions.
Right.
You should have a plan. You should be doing something so your distractions won't even have the time to reach you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Hey, I can't hang out today because I'm in the gym working out. You being in the gym prevents you from even going anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? I feel like having a plan or keeping yourself up, doing something you love can interrupt, your interruptions, your distractions.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, and I like that you said, I like that you said interrupt your interruptions. You could have easily said stop the distractions, stop the interrupt. Yeah. But you have to interrupt those interruptions because
that's on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Because you could not want the interruption. You think it's all sweet and dandy that you just I'm just gonna stop doing that. But really it's really harder than what you think, man. And you might get caught up in a booby trap.
Yeah.
Thinking you know it all and thinking you could just wipe everything down.
Yeah. Well, like when you said interrupt your interruptions, those people who are creating noise that shouldn't really be there, that noise that you can't use to push you forward on the process, those people don't think of themselves as interruptions. But when you say no to those people, when you turn those people down, they feel like you just interrupted them. Mm-hmm. And little do they know that they're actually the interruption. But they feel like you just interrupted them. You just killed their vibe. Yeah. You just, then they're thinking, so you think so okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? So I like how you said interrupt your interruptions.
I feel like you should have a plan, man, to limit your distractions, because that's something you really got a plan for.
Absolutely.
I think you gotta make that a habit, build that into one of your habits.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we actually have a scripture verse. I'm gonna give it to you so you can read it. But it falls in line with what we talked about today and where we were going with this. Here you go.
Proverbs 4:39, right? Mm-hmm. When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." Suddenly the waves stopped and there was a great calm.
All right, just to give that some more context, right? Now
this I think you should read that too.
Yeah, I'll read it again. I'll read
break it down.
Yeah, and I'm gonna break it down
staying
to
calm
make it make sense.
And being still could be the answer to everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But just sometimes we just definitely want to slow down when we go into the Bible, because the Bible's a scary place for a lot of people. But here we go. So Proverbs 4:39. When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." Suddenly the wind stopped and there was a great calm. So just to give this verse context, what was going on at this point? Jesus was on a boat in, I believe, one of those bodies of water over there by in the Middle East that's still there today. It pretty much, he was in the water on a boat with his disciples, and in the middle of a crazy storm. There's lightning, there's thunder, there's rain, there's really big waves everywhere. The boat is being pretty much pushed around, and all of the disciples on the boat were just panicking. They were afraid,
anxiety,
exactly,
all that type of stuff,
because they're
unsure.
They're unsure. They're
unsure.
They're sensing threat. Meanwhile, when they're doing all of this, Jesus is on the boat sleeping because that's wild. That's wild. And okay, like people who Jesus is a spiritual. He's a spirit. He's a very spiritual being. So it's like, okay, why are you gonna? I'm going somewhere, because Jesus actually was, when God had Jesus come down to earth, he was made human so that he could walk around in a body like ours and to actually experience life, fleshly life, but he was spirit led. So Jesus was so in the spirit that he knew before he even got on that boat that it was gonna be fine
spiritually.
Yeah, everything was gonna be okay. He trusted the process. He trusted the fact that boat was gonna get from point A to point B, regardless of the tidal waves, regardless of the lightning, the storming, all of that. And when he woke up, he was kind of, he was a little bit deterred by the disciples. He was a little bit disappointed with them, because it's like,
he couldn't figure out why.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, you guys, I've been teaching you guys for so long, and you're afraid of a storm, a few waves and some thunder and lightning.
And that just comes down. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
And that just shows the ego of the disciples, because the ego still had a way throughout all the teachings Jesus gave to them. The ego still had a way to cause havoc and cause fear.
That is true. What I'm trying to get at right now is, because Jesus was in the spirit, all of the noise, I mean literal noise, it's a thunder, it's the crazy waves, the boats rocking, all of that noise didn't deter him from his process. And pretty much when he got up, he told the waves to peace be still, everything calmed down. And sometimes peace be still could be like a synonym for shut up sometimes. If you think about it. Yeah. I mean, he told the outside noise, the waves, the thunder, all that stuff to stop, to shut up. Just so that, when really he didn't have to do that. I mean, if the disciples would have told that stuff to shut up in their head, you could do that sometimes. You could do that in your mind sometimes. You don't have to physically tell somebody to shut up or to physically separate yourself from the noise. Sometimes you can just block it off in your mind. The noise can still be right around you, but you just can't hear it because you're in the spirit. And yeah, that's pretty much what he had to do. But what we're just trying to get at is, you have the power to control what travels through the gateways of your ears. and what deflects off of your ears. Amen. It's all up to you. You have that ability. And if you feel like you don't have that ability, that means you got to get in the gym and you got to train that ability. Amen. You got to ask yourself, why are you doing this? And you got to figure out what that why is. And you got to figure, and that why would tell you what noise you need to be listening to and what noise you don't need to be listening to.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose, man. Yeah. And I feel like everyone has the ability to do this.
Absolutely.
It's whether you care. Do you care? That's what we talked about earlier in the podcast. Caring. Absolutely. I feel like if you don't know your process, you just don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yup. So that's been our message today. We did two very, very spiritual messages. The first two, I feel like this one was definitely spiritual, but a little bit more surface level.
I love this one.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It definitely was good.
And remind you guys, it's like about 12 o'clock at night. So
yeah,
we still got up and
we got it.
Just
making time to do this thing, to keep this thing going. Yeah. We definitely know that some really good is going to come out of it, regardless of who's listening now, regardless of what it is, regardless of the circumstance. We just trusting our process, and we're just following through with it. So guys, this has been the third episode of the Infinite Charge podcast.
Break down. Tell them about the visuals. We do. Break it down.
What do you mean?
Like about the first 2 weeks, or
yeah, so we won't be. So you guys probably won't be hearing from us next week, because of the fact that what we're gonna do, our breakdowns are gonna be. We're gonna do 3 weeks out of every month. The fourth week is much needed for us to not only recharge, but to really figure out where we're gonna go, what direction we're gonna go in the next month. And we're actually getting ready. We're excited to announce that we're getting ready to bring some guests on as well.
Yes.
You guys will be able to meet those people. And if you're listening and you have a crazy story, or or you have a skill that you would want to share, you have a talent, some charge that you feel like you can give out to the people.
We need people on here. We need to get some people on here, man, because the world is too big, man, and we want to hear everybody's story and everybody's point of view.
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah, if you want to get in contact with us, I can be reached on Instagram at Malachi White with the E as a 3.
Yeah. I could be contacted at theyknow.ty. That's a period.
Yep.
Period, Ty. And also, we thinking about making a TikTok.
Yeah. We get on it.
Really know though.
We get on it.
But
it's necessary. It's necessary. He talked to me. He was like, "Yeah, we should do it." I was just with my little cousins last week in Virginia, and they're like, "Why aren't you on TikTok?" And I'm like, "All right, whatever." So it's time to get on there. Why I feel so old, bro? Just talking about
TikTok.
I mean, I'll be honest, I ain't really care for it, but
I mean, we gotta do whatever we gotta do to get our word out, man.
Yeah, it's necessary. Yup. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this was our episode. Shut up and trust the process. I hope that through everything we talked about, you may have discovered some things in your life, some noises that you need to tell to shut up, in order for you to trust your process. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for listening. Yeah. We love y'all.
One more thing. Yeah, we do love you guys, but stay in prayer, man. During these tough times, a lot of things going on in the world. I just want everybody to stay in prayer for their peers among them and yourself.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely. That's necessary.
Amen. Prayer.
That's necessary, yeah. All right, everybody.
So you gonna wrap it up?
Yeah. Be easy. Stay charged.
More important,